All right, looks like we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Crafty Hour. 54? 54. I think it's 54. We're going 54. Welcome to Crafty Hour 54. I hope everybody got to tune in this morning and follow Leslie. This was Leslie's first Crafty Hour, and it was fabulous. So if you guys didn't get an opportunity to watch that yet, make sure to go over to Clipper Street's Facebook page and you can catch the recording on that. I absolutely love how she used the die and played with it and used it with some of the past Crafty Hour stuff. So it was amazing. So hello, everybody. So tonight, thanks, Kathy. Kathy said my card makes her look hungry. I finished this card and I took it to Ken and I'm like, what does it look? I was like, what do you think of my card? And he's like, oh, it looks like a box of chocolates. It looks like I could eat it. And I said, okay. Then I knew it was a good card and I told him to act surprised when I give it to him for Valentine's Day. So act surprised like you haven't seen it yet. This kit had a lot of mediums in it. So I am going to focus on the mediums that were in this kit. So we're going to play with the Nouveau drops. We're going to play with the Glacier paste and we're going to work on tinting it. We're also going to play with the markers that were in here, kind of using them in a different, unique way. And then I'll also show you some techniques to do with this guy, the shimmer powders. So this kit was fun for me for technique. So I thought that's what I'm going to do. I am going to focus on techniques and show you different ways to use these products that were in the kit. So that's what I wanted to do. Leslie did a great job of showing you guys how to use the pattern papers and use the dies. So we'll let that be. And we are going to focus on techniques, and then that way you can do other stuff with them. So it might be hard to see, but we're going to play with the pearls and we're going to go into the background there and add those pearls. And then on our cookies, you're going to kind of see they're different colors and they're shiny. And I'm using a new light today. So I'm kind of adjusting and learning how to do glare or not, but I have lots of light now compared to what I used to. So we're trying out a new light tonight. But anyways, this is what we're going to do. That is what we're going to play with, everybody. So the first thing I'm going to have you do is get in your pad of paper. We are going to use one piece of pattern paper, and it's this one right here. So it has all these sentiments on one side. This is in your 6x6 pad. There's lots of them in there. And then on the back side, it has this sweet little pattern. And I just absolutely love this pattern. I thought it was adorable and I thought it screamed, put something in the center of me. So that's exactly what we're going to do, guys. So grab this piece of paper out of your kit. And then we're going to do the die cutting together. Hello, Judith. Second Crafty Hour today from Australia. What time is it over there? I know you got up early. Thank you for joining us. I'm so excited that you're able to join us from Australia in our Crafty Hours. That is so much fun. Welcome, welcome. Okay, then on your die set, you're going to look for this die right here. This was the bigger one, and how great were these outer dies. There's the A2 size one, there's this one with a little bit of scallop, and then that kind of sectioned off one with the rectangles. That one was fabulous too. So from your kit so far, you're going to grab this piece of paper and this die set. Midday, all right. Okay, and then grab your die cutting machine and we're going to do that together. Now, when you die cut this, you want to make sure that your pattern is straight. So when you put your die in here, make sure your pattern's straight. We don't want it sideways. I guess if you wanted your card sideways, you could totally do it sideways, but make sure it is straight. And then we're just going to die cut it. And the one I'm using is the one that has the scallop on it. So this is the rectangle one with scallop. Whoops, and mine just shifted. Okay, so we're just gonna die cut that out. Now, since we're doing techniques and we're playing with lots of mediums, we're gonna need dry time. So we're gonna prep some things and then we will set those things to the side to give them some dry time. So you're gonna pull this guy out right here and you should have something that looks just like that. Isn't that cute? I love that piece of paper. This piece of paper is adorable. So cute. Okay, so grab that. And then what we're going to grab is our Nouveau crystals. I always like to kind of tap it to make sure that there's no air bubble in there, so it's all kind of pushed down. And then what we're going to do is I just barely squeeze it, and I have to kind of sit down to do this so I can see it. But you're barely going to squeeze it and then just press. So I always test it on a scrap piece of paper first to make sure we're flowing and we're good to go. And what we're going to do is I just barely squeeze it and kiss it. And if you find that one is too small, and they will kind of sink down. So let me do one row and I'll show you guys what we're doing here. So we're just making little dots. And by little, it is little. We are making little dots. Can you see that? With the Nouveau in the center of those little flowers. And it just adds a little something, something to them and makes them pop. So we are going to do that for all of them. All of them. So I'll give you guys a moment to add your little polka dots. And I find it easiest to start and go all the way across a row. That way you don't accidentally stick your hand in it if you're going like up, down, up, down. I just find pick a row, start at the left, go all the way to the right, and we're just gonna add little drops. Now, sometimes it has a little Hershey Kiss kind of little top at the top of it. It'll flatten out. And if it doesn't flatten out, see mine are flatten out pretty fast, you can tap the back side of your paper or your cardstock, just kind of lightly tap it, and that will kind of make the mountains settle down. And it'll take care of those little Hershey Kiss tops. That's the word I was looking for a while ago. Ooh, words have been difficult. And we're just going to do all of these. And we're just lightly squeezing. This color of Nouveau Drops is probably one of my most used. It matches everything. And it looks like frosting or little pearls. And as long as you don't put it on really thick, like we are just literally doing itty bitty little polka dots, it's going to dry really quick for you guys. It'll dry really quick. But that's why we're kind of doing all the prepping, all the mixed media kind of techniques first. That way we can set these items to the side and let them dry while we're working on other parts. Ooh, one more row. I got to give my hand a little break there. All right, I finished mine. Give me guys a thumbs up or let me know when you finished yours, because I kind of want to keep everybody together so we don't get lost. And like I said, if you have some that are kind of top, just kind of tap it from the back side and it will make those guys go down. It'll flatten them out. Just give it a little walk. Isn't that cute? Just adding that, oops, I smeared that one, but maybe that'll be covered later, so I won't worry about it. Put my finger in it. Isn't that cute? Just a little something something adds to that, right? Okay, so we'll set that to the side and set it out of the way that you won't put your hand or your finger or something in it later. Okay, I see a thumbs up. I think got some ready. So the next thing you're going to need is a piece of scrap paper. I put on the supply list to grab either watercolor paper or grab some scrap 8.5 by 11 paper. It doesn't really matter. It just needs to be scrap. And I'm going to tell you to have two different pieces. What we're going to do is we are going to, this is part of the cookie. I call this the center of the cookie. It's kind of the little wonky wiggly guy. We are going to die cut 3 of these out of each piece of paper. So you want to make sure your scrap piece of paper is big enough to fit those 3 circles on it, or fit that circle on there 3 times. So mine is 2 inches by about, we'll say 6, 2 by 6, 2 by 6-ish. That's probably overkill. It's probably way bigger than what we need, but it'll work. Mine's just a heavy cardstock, so you can do heavy cardstock, or you can do watercolor paper. Either or works. So what we're going to do, and this one you kind of have to work a little fast with it. This was one of those moments that I had. It was I wonder what would happen if. I wonder what. So this is I wonder what. So you're going to need a palette knife, and you're going to need a palette or something that's non-stick to work on. It could be your non-stick craft sheet. It could be a palette. It could be palette paper. It could be anything you want. But basically what we're going to do, this paste is really cool. It is really cool glittery paste. What we're going to do is we're going to tint it with the strawberry jam and the rich walnut marker. Now, these markers are alcohol markers, so it means they will dry on a slick surface, which also allows us to mix it with this paste, and it's permanent. Now, because it dries on a slick surface, it kind of dries fast. So I did find that I had to work kind of fast with it. Otherwise, it just dried on my palette. So what I did is I'm going to take the big guy, the big end, and I'm going to lay down a lot of color. I'm just going to quickly lay some color down from the fat tip. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to scoop some paste out, and I'm going to put it right here on this palette. And I'm just going to mix and mix and mix and mix. Now, if you need more and you need to do it darker, don't put your marker into here. Put your marker over on the side and then pull the marker into the paste, because you don't want to get this paste on your marker. It will contaminate your marker. But we're just going to go in here and we're just mixing. And look at how pretty that makes. That makes a really pretty, kind of like frosting. Then I'm just going to take my palette knife and I am just going to swoop it across my scrap piece of paper. Doesn't have to be really thick. And doesn't that look really cool? It kind of looks like a frosting. So you could totally have die cut this first and then added the frosting to your die cut. I found it easiest to frost the piece of paper and then go back and die cut it. And we're just putting it on smooth, very light. You can put it chunky, you can mix it finer, you can do whatever you want, but we're just applying that paste, whoops, to that palette. And do not put the excess back in your lid. Do not do that. So, oops, and looky there, I got my finger in it. So what we're gonna have is something that looks like that. We've just frosted our cupcakes. Okay, set that to the side, clean up this color. So I'm just gonna take a paper towel and wipe this off. So I will give you guys a moment to do that. Like I said, you kind of have to mix it fast because you can see how some of the marker dried on my palette. But just kind of go in and mix it. And I'm going to clean this up, and then give me a thumbs up when you guys are ready. And we'll go to the next color. Now this stuff, this paste is water soluble, so you can clean it up with water. Just a paper towel, a little bit of water. You can clean it off your mat. You can clean it off your palette. It comes right off. Now, you will want to clean this marker off of your palette before you go to the next color. Otherwise, when you put the red on top, it will reconstitute the brown because alcohol and alcohol mix, so they won't be permanent with each other, and it will contaminate your color. It'll make your color look dirty. So you do want to make sure you clean all of that off, right? It was just a fun, it was one of those wonder what if moments. Now, if you still have color on your palette or whatever you're working on and you can't get it to come off, rubbing alcohol brings it off. I just put rubbing alcohol in a little, or if you have blending solution, that will also bring it off. And then just set that guy to dry, kind of cleaning our palette off. And I got to grab some more paper towels. And then we're going to repeat the same thing with the pink one. Okay, so now we've got, I'm going to get my palette ready, get my stuff ready. I got my knife all cleaned off. That way nothing gets contaminated. And now we're going to take and we're going to apply that red. Red. We're just going to apply a lot of color down. We're going to take a scoop of that paste and we're just going to mix it in there. And because this is alcohol ink, that's why we kind of have to work a little bit fast because it does evaporate and it dries. As soon as it's kind of like rubbing alcohol. When it evaporates, it pretty much dries. But since it is permanent, is the reason why it works with this paste. Now, you could use acrylic paint to color the paste. You could also use, gosh, you can use tons of different mediums to color the paste, but this is what was in the kit. And it's alcohol, so it is permanent. It's not going to rub off. And we're just going to lay that pink down. And of course, you can use this technique for pretty much any of your paste. And you can also use this through a stencil. Like normally, I would not put this on a paper towel and just wipe it off. I would grab a stencil and put it in one of my journals. But for the time being, we're just going to clean it off our palette and move on. I'm liking this little palette. Might have to have Ken make some more of these. This was scrap piece of acrylic that we had in the back, and I'm really liking it, so we might have to make some. It's left over from our rulers, or actually maybe our crafty corners. I don't know. Something. Okay, we're going to clean that mess up. Clean the mess up. How's everybody doing? Everybody got that done? Give everybody a moment to get those finished before we kind of move on. And that is the end of our kind of mess for this card. So the mess making is done for that card. What did I do with my other spray? Oh, there it is. Don't you like how you don't leave an area, but you can lose stuff? Oh, in the Advent, they got a small glass mat. Okay, now that's pretty cool. Which one was that, Amy? Coming soon to Scrapbook-N-Memories. Okay, clean our mess up, and we good? Little anal retention, 3x3. Oh, and tailored expressions. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to move on, and we're going to do some more die cutting. Got some more die cutting to do. Yeah, you could probably put press and seal on there if you feel like you need to get a tighter close on it. Okay, in your kit you had brown. There is, now this was the textured brown. Looks like this, just the textured brown. I just kind of went through so I could get it in my die cutting machine, and I just cut some strips. I cut some strips. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to our metal dies, and on there we've got this one that has, so we're doing two cookies, two outer cookies. This one that has the pointed corners, and then we have this one that has the scallop corners. We are going to cut 3 of each of those out of brown. Three of each of these out of brown. And I like it because I can put them on here and cut 2 out at a time and just do 3 pass-throughs. So we need a total of 6 brown cookies. 6 brown cookies. Try not to put my hand or stuff into that paste. The paste might be dry when we get to it. Just depends on how thick you put it on. If it's not dry, we'll just hit it with the heat tool. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't think I'm going to get it all out of that, so we'll have to do that one and one more. Okay, there's that one. And then I need one more with this one. So we're doing 3 each, which that fits on my machine now. So we are good with that. Okay, so 6 cookies, 3 of each. 3 of each. In my head I have, if you give a mouse a cookie. Okay. Also in your kit, we're going to grab the other brown. And all of this paper is Craft Perfect paper from Tonic, which we just love their Craft Perfect papers. It is beautiful. We're going to grab that brown sparkly one that was in your kit. I think this was my favorite in there. And unfortunately, I feel like I wasted too much of it trying to figure out what I was designing and what I was doing. And we're going to grab that thyme that has the 4 little things in it, and we're going to die cut that out of the brown. Okay, this kind of reminds me of the postage stamp die a little bit, which is a fan favorite right now, but there's just so many cool things you can do with that. Okay, so let me move this stuff out of the way. All right, we are done with the browns. And we're going to take the frame piece we're going to use. And I know you guys are going to freak when I show you what we're going to do with it, but trust me. This frame, I need it to fit inside of the scallop. The other die that was in there, that was the straight die, didn't fit in the scallop. It fit on the outside edge. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our scissors and we're going to gut the inside of this. So we're just going to take it and we're just going to snip it. So we're cutting the inside of it out. We're going to gut the inside of it. Just snip, snip, snip. Okay, just like that. This we're not going to use, so you can pitch that, save it for later. But this is going to give us this nice frame here. Okay, here's our frame. In your homework, I told you to have a piece of acetate because we're going to make it like a shaker window. And that's what it makes it look like, a box of chocolates when you're looking down through it. And you need that piece to fit onto, I need to cut mine down, that frame. You need it to fit on there. So I need to shave mine down a little bit. And you're just going to cut it. And the measurements I gave you kind of made it a little big because I figure it's always easier to cut it down than it is to try to glue some more to it. So you're just going to shave down your piece of acetate until it fits perfectly behind that brown frame. And we're there. Then we have to glue the acetate on, and to put acetate on to paper, I always use my score tape. So we're going to flip it over. We're going to flip that frame over, and I'm using my, I think it's 1/8 of an inch. That is the smallest score tape they have. And we're just going to go all the way around the outside edges. Okay. How are you guys doing? We doing good? Crafting along. I know I'm behind on my Christmas cards. How did Christmas sneak up on us so fast? Okay, so we've got that all the way around it. Then we will peel our backing off, and we're going to stick that acetate down to those. Stick your acetate down. Oops, that wasn't the Mac. I pulled the whole thing up. Have a little bubble there. Okay, so now we have our window for our candy box. And then if you have anything that's hanging over, just take your scissors and snip it. Okay, so we got our front window for our acetate for our candy box. And we can set that to the side too. We're just kind of prepping our pieces while things dry. The next thing we need to do is we need to die cut our decorations, our frosting for our cookies. So on there, you're going to have this whirligig, you got this zigzag, and you got like the figure eights. We're going to cut these out of white scrap paper, and we're going to do 2 of each. 2 of each. So just a white scrap piece of paper. I'm going to lay them all on and try to cut them at once. Okay, the wind came and something just crashed on my porch. Okay, and we're going to do that one more time. We're going to have 3 of each of the frostings. How are we doing? Are we doing okay? Okay, we got those, we got those. Whoops. Cutting plates on the floor. Okay, now we got to go to these guys, and I'm going to hit it with my heat tool because I have a feeling they are not dry. So we're going to try to dry our paste. I kind of put it on a little thick. So we're going to hit those with the heat tool. And then also my polka dots, but I bet my polka dots are done. We're just going to have to make sure everything's good and dry. Sometimes I like to heat from both sides. Kind of helps dry it. If you get it too hot, it might bubble, which, you know, that's kind of a cool effect too. frosting on a cookie. How do you know if it's dry? Stick your finger in it. That's wet, still on my mat. These guys are dry. We are good with those. So we're going to grab a piece of paper that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This paper looks crooked. Four 1/4 by 5 1/2. So that is going to be single-sided paper, and there's a reason for this. We'll kind of get to that in a minute. Okay, we're going to take our scallop one that we've done all those cute little things on it, and we are going to glue that flat to our white piece of paper. Okay. Flat to our white piece of paper. And I'm just using the Nouveau glue because it's quick and easy and it has that great little precision tip to it to glue that. Okay, so we've got that glued down. Just to a card front. 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Just a card front. Okay, so now let's check on our cookies. Let's check in the oven, see how our cookies are doing. Mine is still a little wet, so I'm going to hit it with the heat tool again. I want to make sure everything's dry, because if it's wet when I put it in my die cutting machine, it's going to make a mess all over my plates. And I don't want that. It is because I put it on a little thick. I think I put it on thicker than I originally did, but brown is still a little wet right there. And if you're not doing a live and you're doing it at your own leisure, of course you can just set it to the side and let them dry. You don't have to hit it with the heat tool if you don't have one. It's just, I want it to be dry so we can die cut and assemble. Might be about there. Guess if I make a mess on my mat, I'll clean them off. Went a little too thick there. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, we're gonna have to die cut these, and this time we're using the, I'm gonna call it the drunken circle. The little drunken circle. This is the guy that goes inside of the cookies. We gotta cut him out 6 times. 3 in the brownish color, and then 3 in the pink. So 6 cookies. 6 cookies is what we're doing. there's our 3 brownish cookies. And I know this corner is wet still. Actually, nope, we're dry. Ooh, that's wet right there. Three pink cookies. And I got a wet spot. What happens when we're impatient? I need one more cookie. And you know what? I know that's wet right there. So put a scrap. I know that's wet right there, so I'm just going to put a scrap piece of paper on that so I don't get wet on my mat again. Ah, there we go. Okay, so that is it, I think, for die cutting. Get that out of the way. Now it's time to assemble our cookies. You can do them all the same. You can mix them up. It is whatever you want to do. I kind of did them all the same. I put all the pink bottoms on the scallops, and I put all of the teal bottoms, or teal, good grief, the brown bottoms on the pointy ones. Again, I'm just using my Nuvo glue. I'm just using a white glue to glue them down. We're doing paper to paper. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Quick and easy. Did you guys like the technique? Did you think that was fun? Something different to use, the paste? How many of you have not used paste? So kind of some fun techniques. You can kind of, the paste you don't always have to use with stencils. You can just tint them and use them in the background to kind of alter stuff like we just did. You can always make your own color, which is why I always like to get white, because you can always mix and make your own colors to match your projects. Awesome. Thank you, Kathy. Oh, got a little glue bugger there. Thank you, Shelly. Okay, so now we're just putting our frosting. Now, on the frosting, I'm just putting the white paper down and we're calling it. What you could do to give it a little bit of shine, a little bit more oomph, is to take your Nouveau and outline and trace those. And that would give it some more shine and a little bit more decorative to your frosting if you want to do some decorative frosting. There is also in the kit, there's glitter paper. That was white glitter paper that was in the kit. So you could cut out your accents for your cookies from that also. Oh, hi, Joe. Yes, I love paste. I love mixing paste and making it your own colors, making it in your own personal. That way you always have the perfect color. How do you clear your plates? What plates, Amy? Which ones are you talking about? Clean? Do you mean clean plates? Okay, last cookie. Last one. All right, isn't that cute? Don't they look great with that paste? So that is just using that paste. We colored it with the markers. We made it our own. We tinted it to match and coordinate with our kit. So now we're gonna grab our, oh, you have paste on your plates. You can take a scraper and it'll probably scrape right off, Amy. So now we're gonna put our cookies on and we're gonna kind of center them, okay? And I always like to start with my first one in the center. So I'm just going to use my ruler and find the center. And you can mix them. I'm putting all my brown at the top, all my pink at the bottom. You can alternate them and do brown, pink, brown, pink. Make it your own box of chocolates, whatever you want to do. When you put them on, you kind of want to put them close together. You don't want to go too far off the edge because you don't want your cookies sticking out the side of your box. You want your cookies inside your box. Oops, and somehow I don't think I was quite centered. That's okay. I lost a cookie. Oh, there it is. Not giving my glue a moment to dry. Okay, so once we have all our cookies in, we are ready to add our shakers, or our little ghibli parts. I just grabbed some red sequins. I have no idea where these came from. I think they're from a Christmas extravaganza box. is where these red ones came from, because they don't have holes in them. So that tells me they're a Spellbinders one. So I think they came from Christmas Extravaganza box. We're going to put those guys on there. I always like to put my sequins down, and then that way I can flip and center my windows and stuff over things. Then we're going to have to take our foam tape. I love this tape by 3L. The piece that looks like a swirl that I didn't use yet, that is also to be like a frosting on a cookie or a cupcake. That's also a frosting one. I think they might show it on the packaging that came with the box. This is a fun box. It had quite the eclectic mix of products. A little bit of everything. I thought it was really fun. And I'm loving those rectangular dies that were in this kit too. I've got another one, Amy, I'll show you, and I think that's what you're meaning. I call it the whipped cream. It kind of looks like whipped cream. When you're doing shakers, you want to make sure your foam goes all the way around and closes all of your holes. Otherwise, you'll have pieces falling out, and we don't want pieces falling out. So the next crafty hour we have is number 55. I know we still have some available. I think Deanna does too. That was the one with the fun 49 in Market. I can't wait to see what the girls come up with that too. The fun 49 in Market, it has the green collection, the peach collection, and then a card kit in it. So there are still some of those available. And then tomorrow we will go live with Crafty Hour 56. Cannot believe we're on 56. That is amazing. And there will be some add-ons for 56. So there's some add-on ephemeras, there's some stamps, there's some dies, there's stencils. So there is other things that are going to coordinate and match the items in the kit that we're using for Crafty Hour. So make sure to stay tuned and check out for those add-ons. And then, okay, so we're going to flip that, and I got to kind of look above, and we're going to center it with that scallop all the way around the edge. And then there is our little box of chocolates. Is that not adorable? Oh, I might have got too many in there, but that's okay. So to make it look like, oh man, where did time go? To make it look like a box of chocolates, I felt like it needed to have some ribbon. We had to put ribbon on it to make it look like chocolates. If you want, there is a die in the set. If you don't have ribbon, you can die cut this little bow here and glue it on, and then just cut some strips of paper, and the strips of paper you can wrap around your card like that. But I'm going to do a bow because I just thought it closed it and it made it look like some chocolates. So I'm just using some red, and I'm going to grab mine out. I've got my little bow maker. To make my cute little bow. We're going to knot it, slide it off, and then there is our adorable little bow. And on this, what we're going to do is I tried everything. I tried putting glue dots on here. I tried putting score tape on here, liquid glue, and it just made my ribbon look icky. So what I did is we're going to put a glue dot on the back of this, and then we're going to wrap those around to the back side. And not only will that hold it down, but it will also hide the ribbon and keep it from coming off. So I'm going to put a glue dot right on the back of my knot. I'm going to put it right there. Okay. Then I'm just going to take a piece of tape, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this around the back side, and I'm going to put a piece of tape to hold that ribbon. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Take that, wrap it around the back. Okay. And then we'll do the same thing over here. And I'm not going to put a glue dot on this because I don't want to have that unsightly little dot on the back of my ribbon. Because my ribbon is a satin ribbon, it just kind of showed it, and I don't want it to show. So we're going to fold it over and put some tape to hold it. This is when you need another set of hands, and then fold it over and put a piece of tape there. Okay, and then what we're going to do to hide that, and you guys can do, well, we're just a couple minutes over, another piece of paper, and we're going to glue it to a card front. So you're taking your 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, you're cutting it in half, so it's 8.5 by, sorry, 5.5 by 11. We're going to score it at 4 1/4. Thanks, Amy. I don't even remember where I got that from. I've had it forever. Okay, so we've got that. Then we're going to, I'm just taking my Helmar 450 because it's a nice wiggle glue and it's going to hold everything. And I'm going to glue this down to a card front. So that will hide all the ribbon. And it will also hold the ribbon down. And make sure my card front, my first one I did, I glued it upside down, so I had to rip it off and start over. But you know what? It's what we do. Okay, so there we go. There is a lovely box of chocolates. It could be for a birthday, it could be for Valentine's, it could be for anniversary, it could kind of be for whatever you guys want. So that is my card with lots of fun techniques for Crafty Hour. Amy, the one you were asking about, and this was a card I was playing with and I decided I didn't like it, but that little swirly guy I think is supposed to be frosting, and then I put a cherry on top of it. So I think that's the one you were talking about. So thank you everybody for tuning in and participating with Crafty Hour. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Pacific, we will go live with Crafty Hour 56. Deanna has an event created. Make sure to attend the event. We will reveal the kit live. They'll go live on our website at that time. We will be posting the links on the live. So please click those to sign up and to register. And there will be some add-ons. So make sure to stay tuned and see what the add-ons are for that Crafty Hour. So thank you so much, guys. I hope you enjoyed the cards. I hope you enjoyed the techniques. Have a fabulous night. And if we don't see you, have a Merry, Merry Christmas, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.